It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to the Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
This is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In this bulletin, Electoral Commission welcomes legal challenge. Opposition MP submits public apology in writing to the Speaker. And fifth suspect in Suva robbery charged. Electoral Commission Chairman Chen Ban-yang says he welcomes the legal challenge by the Attorney General's Office against their decision to award the vacant seat to SADELPA member Mikaele Lewere. Yang says while they sought the legal advice of the Solicitor General's Office, they chose instead to go with another opinion on the matter. Maggie Boyle with this exclusive story.
The Electoral Commissioners held an emergency meeting in Suva yesterday. The issues at hand, legal representation and the awarding of the newly vacant Fiji First seat. Electoral Commission Chairman Chen Ban-yang is confident of their legal battle ahead.
And we're actually quite, in a sense, quite glad it has come, if I could use that word to express our position, because it gives us an opportunity to, for a court to declare whether the interpretation we took was proper or not. So, yes, we're glad for the actual case.
Elaborating on the lead up to the court action, Young says their decision on the awarding of the seat was thoroughly considered.
We thought initially that we would take the advice of the Solicitor General. We looked at it and we studied it carefully, and then we resolved to also take a second opinion. And when we took the second opinion was obviously different from the Solicitor General's.
On the vacant government seat, which is expected to be filled by Lautoka businessman Alex O'Connor, due process is being followed.
Normally we would do a police check again, and we also will write to the official receiver to just check his check a record with him as well. And once we get all this advices, we will then proceed to the next step.
Tomorrow, the case against the Electoral Commission resumes in the Court of Disputed Returns. An application to strike out the petition is expected to be argued first by Lewere's counsel. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Suspended opposition MP Ratunainga Malalamalavu has submitted his public apology in writing to the Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Chico Luveni. Parliament Secretary General Viniana Namosi Malua confirms they have received the apology, which is one of the recommendations in the Privileges Committee report. When asked whether the apology is to be made public, Namosi Malua said that is open to interpretation. Meanwhile, Opposition Chamber's Administrator Mick Beddoes says they are looking at the possibility of challenging the suspension in court. Ratunaingama was suspended last week for 2 years from Parliament for making derogatory statements in the Itoke language against the Speaker at a SADELPA meeting in Makoi, Nasinu. Several women's groups say derogatory comments made by Opposition MP Ratunaingama Malalamalavu against the Speaker of Parliament are not related to gender and women's rights. Savara Tambua has more.
Why I'm saying this?
During a debate on the motion to discipline Ratunainga Malalamalavu late last week, the government side spoke at length about the effect his comment against the Speaker had on gender and the advancement of women. However, women's groups like the Catholic Women's Group do not agree that it is a gender-related matter.
It's not only about women, it's about both how men and women are treated. And also the issue that was taken into the House of Parliament. You know, any issue that is brought out of the House, that means it opens the door for any issue, any discussions. That means we as citizens of this country are not really free to express our views.
Dr. Maria Dotton is president of the Ba Women's Forum, which is the umbrella body of 79 women's organizations in Ba.
As much as Ratunaingama did not really refer it to her being a woman, but being the speaker, then it is not as a gender reference, but it is more of a disrespect to her position as this.
National Council of Women General Secretary Favola Tambu says the Privileges Committee has ruled on the matter.
The concern there is what are the rules of engagement? Where does the Privileged Committee end? Where does the rights of an individual to express themselves start or end?
Former Senator and General Secretary of the Songo Bagamarama, Antifino Tambakodoro, says it's difficult to comment because she, like many others, did not hear what was said.
We are not able to comment upon the nature of that comment because we didn't hear it.
The president of Nari Sabha, Lalita Sharma, who declined to be filmed, said the comment has nothing to do with gender but is disrespectful to the position of the speaker. The Fiji Women's Crisis Center management instructed their coordinator, Shamima Ali, not to comment on the matter to media. However, prior to Ratunengama's suspension last week, the center made a strong public statement calling for severe action against him. Ratunengama has been suspended from Parliament for 2 years for casting slurs at the speaker at a constituency meeting in Nasinu about a fortnight ago. Samira Tambua, FBC News.
A fifth suspect has been charged in relation to an incident where the police commissioner Ben Hunewald was injured while trying to stop a robbery. Eleanor Turangaivu has the story.
Huatem Baleono is the fifth person alleged to be part of the group of men who stormed into and attempted to rob the distill outlet at Flagstaff in Suva last Thursday night. Baleono appeared at the Suva Magistrate Court this afternoon, charged with 1 count each of aggravated robbery, act with intent to cause grievous harm, and theft of a motor vehicle. Baleono appeared in court today along with Cheke Vakararawa, Sermaya Mundura, Moses Tarau, and Tevi Tanganga Nivalu, who have also been charged in relation to the same robbery. Police Commissioner Major General Ben Hunewald, who was a guest at the outlet's restaurant, was injured when he tried to stop the men. They hurled stones and bottles at him. Police have given their report to further investigate the man, and they've also been allowed to keep all the accused at the Totonga police station. The 5 men have been further remanded and will reappear in court on Friday, where a decision is expected on whether their case will be transferred to the High Court. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Fijians who usually travel on vessels to outer islands can expect uniformity in fares from July 1st. The Transport Ministry and the Commerce Commission this afternoon announced the changes that will be adopted by shipping companies. Akasita Tale has more.
From July 1st this year, all shipping fares and freight charges will come under price control order. Cabinet at the end of last month endorsed a report on the outcome of consultations on the review of shipping fares and freight charges for the maritime shipping industry.
During the peak periods, particularly during holidays and the Christmas period, we have hikes in these fares. So now that it will now come under the Commerce Commission, under the price control, we will have some uniformity.
The consultations, assessments and analyses were conducted for 3 years since 2012 before recommendations were put forward. Passenger and cargo manifests were developed from the consultations.
It gives other ministries like the Ministry of Finance, the Bureau of Stats, and other line ministries of government a more clearer picture of the actual economic activity that is taking place between Suva and the other islands out in Lomaiviti, Lau Group, Kandau, and also up in the Northern Division.
The Commerce Commission says in most routes where ship operators traded and serviced, some had an influx of ship and cargo charges. However, this will be the first time passenger fares will be subjected to price control.
There was no one finding in terms of whether the rates were exorbitant, whether they were high or they were low. It was like a mixture of the results. In some routes, the rates were, let's say, not that conducive to make a profit.
The Commerce Commission will release the new shipping fares to the public once the schedule is gazetted. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Coming up, fully electric car to go on sale from next year.
Ya vino pala mga doon sa mga musik mga pula FM ng banduan na sir na ngona nin remanda kay Central Rental sa mga kanya person mo ito minichi me va na koloko. Sabula.
Oya wa wati soni dalai.
Gua ngai musdum.
Nama dikirau bena tolu kena bitu. Ena biya kati moliti kena borombuka.
Gori na lali ne kami. Bula FM number 2 ena seri.
Welcome back here with FBC News. The Suva High Court has refused the bail application for Usaya Kilaiverata this morning. The bail was refused on the grounds that there is a high risk of him flying abroad as his previous partner is residing in New Zealand with his 2 children. Kilaiverata, who is charged with murder, applied for bail on the grounds that he is self-employed and supports his 2 children and mother by sending them money to New Zealand. He also stated that he supports his grandmother with daily needs. Kilaiverata is charged with the murder of former journalist Losana McGowan. And the case has been adjourned until the 5th of next month. Welcome back to FBC News. The government has announced a 4th cane payment of $15 per tonne. The Fiji Sugar Corporation will pay farmers a premium of nearly $8 per tonne on the 4th cane payment, taking it to $15 instead of the $7.20 per tonne they would have received under the superseded Master Award. Last week, Parliament approved an extension of the $150 million government guarantee to the Fiji Sugar Corporation to enable the payment to be made. The $15 payment will be made tomorrow. And a 5th Boeing 737 aircraft has been added to the Fiji Airways fleet. The 737-800 has been leased and will increase the national airline's flight capacity. Ritika Pratap reports.
The Boeing 737-800 touched down at its hangar in Nadi this morning, having left the Netherlands last weekend. The aircraft has been named Island of Overlau and features 8 business class seats and 162 economy class seats.
It will contribute straight away to our network. It allows us to start direct services between New Zealand capital Wellington and Nadi from June 25th on Thursdays and Sundays all year round.
The airline has 5 Boeing 737s. This is the 4th of the 800 series and will give the national airline the opportunity to increase flights to other destinations like Auckland, Brisbane and Sydney.
With the arrival of the new aircraft and the frequency being increased, it also sustains jobs. It creates new jobs. Because if you're going to have more flying to existing routes, new routes, it means there's more crew time required. It means there's a requirement for more crew to come on board.
Fiji Airways now has a total of 8 planes, including the 3 Airbus aircraft. A 4th Airbus A330-300 will arrive in December.
We have identified 3 choices: Singapore, Beijing or another Chinese port, and Tokyo. It's a close race and it's an important decision for Fiji Airways and indeed for Fiji.
The aircraft will make its inaugural Fiji Airways flight on Friday. It's come at a time when the national airline is strengthening its network and growing its fleet as part of its 5-year strategic plan. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Suva's Pioneer Social Club, the Union Club, is investing more than $35 million in the development of a twin tower complex at the corner of Carnarvon and Kimberley Street in Suva. President Ratuepeli Nailatikau unveiled the new proposed multi-million-dollar development complex during the club's 70th anniversary last night. Shireen Lata reports.
Town planning requirements for the proposed development like rezoning will take up to 12 months before the construction begins.
Thanks to this government, otherwise it's a very lengthy process to get this converted into commercial development.
About 500 people will be employed during the construction period and another 300 will be employed once the towers become operational. The complex is expected to feature commercial offices, embassies and non-government organizations.
Level 3 and 4 would have 58 car parks, and the reason why we've got car park on a higher level, if you look at the landscape over here, the difference between Carnarvon Street and by the time you get to this end, there's almost about 6 meters.
The current property is valued at $6 million. The club is looking for a partner who will be able to match the value and jointly apply for a loan if need be. An expression of interest will shortly be called for a joint venture partnership. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
Well, Fiji's first ever fully electric car has been launched. A three-wheel vehicle which runs on clean renewable energy with zero smoke emissions. Tambara buses will sell the Zippy from 2016 as an eco-friendly means of getting around. Julie Vatuwaliwali with the story.
This tiny three-wheeler is said to be the key to Fiji's efforts towards saving our planet and sustaining it for future generations.
We all know the issue of our high import of fossil fuel. We all talk about going green. We all talk about something must be done. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have done something.
The Zippy, which runs on batteries, will be registered vehicles. Tambara Buses is working with a Japanese company which already sells these three-wheelers in India and Indonesia. The government has fully backed the initiative.
On behalf of government, I'm glad that today's baby step is the beginning of the shift to support this national level move towards noise and pollution-free vehicles that will reduce Fiji's fuel import bill.
The Zippy can cover a distance of 50 kilometers and needs 8 hours for the batteries to charge and provides more than just environmental benefits.
It's simple and easy to drive and is expected in the market next year once Tambara Buses has fully tested the vehicle in Fiji's climate and road network. Able to seat 5 people, the Zippy is aimed at families and taxi drivers. A retail price hasn't been decided yet. Julie Vatuwaliwali, FBC News.
Indian music director, singer and film actor Himesh Reshammiya has promised exciting shows for his fans. The Bollywood star, who is in the country, says he is excited about performing for Fijians. Sharin Lata with the story.
Aashik banaya apne.
Himesh Reshammiya and his orchestra members are all prepared for their shows in Suva and Nandi this week. A total of 14 members from India are in Fiji, and Reshammiya says all music lovers should get ready for a night full of entertainment.
Very big medley towards the end of the show, which will, connect with every listener.
41-year-old singer described Fiji as a beautiful and peaceful place.
They're beautiful people, beautiful country, and lots of love.
His first show will be at the FMF Gymnasium in Suva tomorrow, and his second show will be at Prince Charles Park in Nandi on Friday. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
And sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Vinaka Amrita and good evening. Coming up in sports, cold New Zealand conditions, biggest obstacle for Fiji under-20 football side, and Nandi out to end its 3-year drought against Naita Siri in the Skipper Cup this weekend. We'll have this and more after the break.
छू 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 हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची इट्स हॉट।
As kick-off to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup draws nearer, excitement in the Vodafone Fiji football camp is at its peak. Among the 21-player squad are 2 gentlemen from the same district that will be pivotal in Fiji's quest to create history for Fiji football. Inder Singh is in Auckland with the side and files this report.
As the players count down to tomorrow to make the journey to Christchurch, the team is unison in one aspect, and is that they need the full support from all the Fijian faithful.
Yeah, only my message to the players back home, just please to support our team, because it's the first time that we're going to the World Cup. We don't know what is a World Cup, will be like.
The Rewa duo, who will be coach Frank Farina's key man in the first game against Germany, understand the task on hand is the biggest to date in their short footballing career.
I'm really excited to be playing in the World Cup. It's the first time for Fiji team to qualify for a World Cup, and I'm also proud to be part of the historic team that qualified last year.
For me, it's a big exposure playing in the World Cup.
And while the talks of playing Germany are on every football fan's mouths, the players have reiterated that the weather is their enemy number one right now. This more so as the juniors have never faced anything as such before.
It's very cold, and I think that the boys can adapt to it. And I think when you go to Christchurch, the boys will do their best and perform well.
The weather here, it's very cold. Well, it's just, we can see it's just sunny and cloudy, but the weather here is very, very cold. We are adapting to it very well. I think come Monday next week, playing against Germany, it will be a very different story for us.
The cold of Auckland will be forgotten tomorrow because the team travels to Christchurch, and like Waranivalu and Vervo, all the players need to adapt and get ready for what lies ahead, because it will be a very cold and a very tough tournament. Interesting, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the starting team to take on Germany in Fiji's first match will be named on Sunday. Coach Frank Farina says he has already made up his mind as to who will start, but will wait for Sunday to release his lineup. Farina is happy with how the squad has maintained its fitness and thanked officials for their hard work.
Well, once we get through this next 6 days, I've already got in the back of my mind the team that I'll want to start with. But, 6 days to go, anything can happen, so we'll get through that, and most probably a day before the first game, on the 31st, I'll announce the team to play.
The FIFA World Cup starts this Saturday, while Fiji plays its first group match against Germany at 1 p.m. on Monday. The Jacks Nandi rugby team will be out to end its 3-year drought against Naita Siri in the next round of the Skipper Cup competition on Saturday. The Jet Setters have not defeated the Highlanders since 2012. With both sides coming off first round wins, fans can expect fireworks to go off when the two sides go head to head this weekend. Tsalenda Dakdaka has more.
The Nandi team will be hunting for a second win in as many games this season when they host the Highlanders this weekend.
Nandi respects Naitasiri, taking into account Naitasiri has been playing with the Warriors for the last preparation of their games before they move out. They have a very good experienced coach. Nandi this year has got a very young lineup. We are willing to work with them.
Roko Takala says the players are battle ready following the comfortable victory over Tailevu last weekend.
Nandi will be fully prepared to take on the battle from Naitasiri, and we've told the boys to stick to the game plans and work for the 80 minutes rugby.
Nandi will host Naitasiri at Prince Charles Park at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Talento Dakadak, FBC Sports.
The 2015 Pineapple Cup gets underway this weekend at the Suva Bowling Club. The two-day tournament starts on Friday with over 70 players coming in from Australia, New Zealand and Canada. Major sponsors ANZ Bank today handed over $15,000 check for the competition.
It's very hard for us to find sponsors. And to have an organization like ANZ come on board and having committed to this long-term agreement with us, the Pineapple Cup and the Carnival, we are so much grateful.
Today we are here to continue our support for the Pineapple Cup and the Carnival. Again, thank you for the opportunity to give us this opportunity to be part of it, and I wish the tournament all the best. So, yeah.
The Pineapple Cup will be held on Friday and Saturday and will be followed by the one-week ANZ Championship from Sunday. The Southern Division Snooker Championship will be held in Suva this weekend. The competition received a boost today by way of sponsorship from Formscap Fiji. This is the first time a snooker event in Fiji is receiving sponsorship from the company.
With these all skills, we want to see that how it goes and for further development of this tournament. And we're also looking at this as if this tournament goes good, our company is looking at forward to sponsor more games in future years.
The championship will start on Saturday with the finals on Sunday. And that wraps up sports for tonight. It's back to Amrita now.
Acting Prime Minister Ayah Syed Qayyum held a discussion with the Suva business community last night. Questions from the floor ranged from tax amnesty to ease of doing business, the mahogany industry and concessions for the fisheries sector. Edwin Nunn reports.
Acting Prime Minister Ayah Syed Qayyum called on businessmen and women to partner with the government on its 5-year development plan.
It will of course help us as a government in terms of saying, well, these are the priorities. It will help the citizens of Fiji in terms of knowing where we are going. It will also help you as businesses to know what is the focus in the area of development.
Syed Qayyum also pointed out that the new Companies Act is now in place and should see positive changes in the business climate. Come time for discussions, owner of Tumbara Buses Arvind Maharaj asked for some considerations for the bus industry.
How do we ensure that people move and move in time? If a bus moves from point A to point B, for example, that person needs to arrive to work on time. And that's the issue here.
Syed Qayyum highlighted major changes are expected at the Land Transport Authority, but that doesn't mean people should be made to use public transport.
Today, for example, if you went to LTA and said, give us the entire bus timetable for all of Fiji, they don't have it. That's a very basic thing that needs to be done, and that's one of the recommendations that we are saying.
Most businesses had questions about the taxation procedures and policies for amnesties, while others wanted quicker turnover time for business applications. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
Well, generally cloudy and cool conditions were experienced over most parts of the country today. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over Tuvalu. Meanwhile, a stationary front lies slow moving over the southern parts of Fiji. Temperatures: Suva, Savu and Bar recorded low temperatures of 25, 27 and 29 degrees respectively. Nadi and Lautoka recorded 30 degrees, while Lambasa once again was the hottest at 32 degrees. Forecast for tomorrow: you can expect cloudy periods with some showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Elsewhere, it will be fine. And further outlook: fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. It will be cool at night. On to the main points again. Electoral Commission Chairman Chen Ban-yang says he welcomes the legal challenge by the Attorney General's Office against their decision to award the vacant seat to Sedelpa member Mikaele Lewere. Suspended opposition MP Ratunainga Malalamalavu has submitted his public apology in writing to the Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Chico Luveni. And the fifth suspect has been charged in relation to an incident where the police commissioner Ben Hunewald was injured while trying to stop a robbery. On to our poll question of the week: should there be stricter requirements for getting a driver license? Visit our FBC website to take part. Now you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.
Sarwanduru na kaloko na Radio Fiji 1 and Domi Wiki na Bungani Binano. Nisambolo Binaka na ngono taki ni rongo sere na ngono ni Ndreko Malolo. Nisambolo Binaka. Oye o meli kilangi. Ningi nama ketumena nungu bengi rawi maina moni tiki na warombuka na rua kina wana kaloko na ngono ni rongo mani sana. Waki na wono na ngono ni rongo sere na Radio Fiji 1 na Domi Wiki na Bungani Binano.